My name's John. I'm 26. I grew up in Boston, and I'm a recent transplant here to Los Angeles. I'm traveling a lot for work in the music business with production. So we do different things in the electronic and orchestral music space. Growing up in Boston, dad and uncle were both big hockey players, so we were skating pretty young. So I was playing hockey, playing lacrosse. You know, it's interesting because in ninth grade, I all of a sudden woke up one day with a massive swollen wrist, massive swollen elbow, pain all over, aching everywhere, and went into the ER, and they kept saying I had arthritis, and my mom was like, this kid's in ninth grade, there's no way that's the case. 9 months later, after going to tons of different doctors, one was like, I'm just gonna get you tested for all these different things. It turns out I had pretty bad Lyme's disease. That's kind of around when my back started hurting. You know, I never had one incident that was, I got hit in the boards and all of a sudden my back's broken. I just kind of figured, oh, it was growing pains. You know, I mean, by the time I was in ninth grade, I was probably like 6'1". And so I was shooting up and I just thought it was normal, or it's the Lyme's. After another year and a half, so probably this is the end of my 10th grade year in high school, I finally went home. I was like, Mom, I don't think that this is normal. Could we just go get it checked out? I mean, by this point, I was a little bit of a wild child, so I've been in and out of hospitals with stitches and all sorts of different things. And so I was kind of used to, like, let's just go back to the hospital. Let's just see what's going on. Got MRI, CAT scan, everything. And it turns out I had a crack in my L2 and a crack in my L5. So that was a surprise. And it also kind of was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not just being a wimp and this isn't just growing pains. Like, there was actually something wrong. I'm glad we caught on to this. What are my options, doctor? And he's like, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna get you fitted for a brace. Whoa, you know, I'm 10th grade, sophomore in high school. I'm got this massive brace that he wanted to put on me. So I was like, what else? He's like, and what I suggest is we fuse the bones together. It's 2 years recovery and it should work, you know, which at that time I wouldn't have accepted either way because I got to play hockey, I got to play lacrosse. But at the same time, my hockey season junior year, which is kind of the year that you get looked at, I couldn't play. I mean, I'd wake up and Dad, you got to put my socks on. I couldn't bend over to put my socks on. I mean, that's how bad it got. Waking up in the morning and having to yell upstairs to my dad to come down and put my socks on is not what you want to be doing at 16, because, you know, at that age you're getting independent. So part of me was a little insecure about it. You know, we had a bigger car, the Expedition back then. Great, I can hop right up into that thing. It was awesome. But getting in and out of those small, you got to bend down, and oof, that'll get you. Even now, cross-country flight, you're sitting down in that seat for 5.5 hours. It does a toll on my back. Things that I didn't have to do before, I mean, constantly stretching. Hamstrings, glutes, all the time stretching. Every morning when I woke up, I had to stretch. Every night before I go to bed, I had to stretch. Otherwise, I'd wake up and it'd be stiff. And if I'm stiff, I can barely put my pants on now, let alone my socks. If I lie on my back for too long, back hurts. Lie on my side for too long, starts to hurt. Stomach for too long, starts to hurt. So I'm constantly throughout the night changing. And I've been doing it for about 10 years now, dealing with this. This is how my life is. I mean, now looking back, it's like, maybe I should have done that. But at the time, I was like, that's not an option. Like, doc, I just can't not play sports. I'd rather have the pain and play lacrosse than not play. I think it was the end of 10th grade. My mom and her 4 friends, every Tuesday and Thursday, they have a private teacher. And they'd meet at our house, have a glass of wine or two, and then go to yoga. So I remember the first class I'm in, they're giggling and falling over in their poses, but having a great time doing it. I really loved it. And so started going twice a week with them, getting more into it, and taking some things from that and using it in every day. You know, instead of going to yoga every day, I realized the importance of the core. I mean, because they teach a lot, breathing, the core, and that supports your lower back. And so now in the weight room, instead of just going in doing this and biceps, I was going and focusing on this and focusing on my lower back and hamstrings, which also will help there. And so that kind of changed the way I looked at my body. It made me realize there's certain things I can do to lessen the pain, right? I didn't think I was gonna cure it through yoga. It certainly lessened the pain. I had a few flare-ups. I was playing lacrosse's club, but we were top 10 in the nation, and, you know, we travel a lot. And I remember we went to nationals my freshman year. We took a bus from Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was like maybe like a 23-hour bus ride. By the time we got to Austin, I mean, I could barely walk. If I'm not consciously paying attention, as in eating unhealthy, last weekend, Super Bowl weekend, for example, eating nachos, hot dogs, wings, you know, having a few drinks, this, and this. You do that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This starts to grow a little bit. I haven't been in the gym. Monday morning I wake up and you get out of bed and you can feel that right there, right? Any long periods of time that I have to sit still, that usually is when it'll start flaring up. Cross-country flights, things like that. I move around a lot, and maybe that is my personality and the ADHD, or that may be because I know that if I sit too long, I'm gonna get some pain. But my office, I'm not one to go sit at the desk all day, right? I'm up, I'm walking around, I'm taking every hour, I'm getting up, going outside, doing whatever, staying on the move. Because right now, as we're sitting, you'll notice I'm stretching, I'm going back and forth, and this feels good, right? And then stay here for a little bit, oh, doesn't feel so good. Switch over, ooh, this feels nice. Things like that. I don't know if this is what people do, or if it's because I'm constantly doing it because I'm constantly thinking about my lower back. I do constantly find myself thinking about my lower back. Does it wear on me? I don't sit down and really talk about my lower back problems with my friends. They don't want to hear about that. But now that we're talking about it and going through it, it does make me think, wow, maybe this is on my mind at all times, and maybe this is taking away from mental capacity that could be used elsewhere. I don't know the answer to that. I get back spasms every now and then. I mean, it ruins my whole day, it ruins my whole week. It throws everything off. It's as if a crisis has come up you didn't prepare for, and now your meetings are thrown off. You're behind on work because all day long or if I get up the wrong way, and I'm back sitting down in the chair and I gotta ride this one out, and people around me are like, well, are you all right? I'm like, oh, I'll be okay. Like, just give me a second, I mean, there's been times I've hopped on a plane running late, and I'll get up in the middle of the flight and stretch it out a little bit. But if I sleep through the whole flight, I'll get there and the next morning I wake up and I'll just regret. I'm like, I know exactly why this is happening, and I could have avoided it, and I didn't do what I know I should have done to avoid it. I do think about it a lot though, like if I make it to 75 years old, am I gonna be hunched over in a cane and not able to move that well? Or am I gonna be able to beat this thing and stay at it and stay active and not let it affect me? I mean, are there things that have progressed and that are better suited for me today, which maybe this is the thing that gets me to go back? Some of my very close friends have seen me, I mean, I've, put on the pounds, lost them, but hey, when you put them on, that's when you get the problems. There was a quote I saw walking into a restaurant the other day. It said, "One life, one body, treat it right." I saw that, I was like, whew. Praise, power to that. As far as the physical aspect of it, I don't want to say it's for sure, but if I didn't have to do these things to not be in pain, maybe I would be a couch potato, hanging out on a Saturday afternoon, just not doing much. But today, it's a beautiful day in California, I'm gonna go hiking. I mean, I've taken a different approach to this entire situation. So whether you're in the hospital or going online and doing research or looking at things like this, there are other options out there. There's always more options out there to look at. It doesn't matter how old or young or obese or thin you are, anyone can do it, and just start somewhere. Did a yoga class this morning, which was a little tricky to get up super early, but you do it, because after, I feel so much better. I know another day, crushed yoga class, I did the right things by my body, body's gonna do right by me now.